shooting this. Again, this is Battle Steel. You see on the back, level 3 polyethylene plate. I'm just going to be shooting one round of green tip to see if this will actually stop it. And if it doesn't, I'm going to put a level 3A vest, is what I would wear at work, or what a police officer would wear when he's on duty, and see if that, in conjunction with this plate here, will stop the green tip. So this is more, I guess, a video specifically for law enforcement, I guess, and to see how, if you can get away with these really lightweight plates that are level 3 that won't stop stuff like this, and then in conjunction with the level 3A, if it'll kind of act like a level 3 plus. So let's see what it does. We'll see if you can see me shoot it or not. Again, this is about maybe 15, 20 yards, something like that. So see what happens. I hit it. Hopefully you can see this on camera. There's your entry right here. Big bulge, so it was trying to stop it, but there is actually an exit hole right there. Hopefully you can see that. But it zipped right through, but it was trying to stop it. So again, that was with a 16-inch barrel. I'm gonna shoot this plate again. I'll try to shoot it somewhere near the bottom, but I'm gonna put a level 3A vest behind it and see if that level 3A vest will catch the bullet whenever it comes out of here, because it should be going a lot slower with this trying to catch it and slow it down. So let's see if the vest behind this one will actually stop. The plate and the plate carrier is right behind it. I'm going to aim for a little bit higher spot on that small plate, so to give it the best chance possible for stopping it. We'll see what happens. Alright, here's the plate again. You can see second shot was higher and zipped right through again. There's the second hole. And here is where it actually came in contact with this plate. Hopefully you can see this right here. And at first I thought it went through, and it did rip the back of the carrier, but I could feel bullet in there. So it's in there. I'm gonna shoot it one more time though, just to verify, just to see. Since there is a rip on the back, I wanna make sure it didn't flip through and just part of the bullet made it through and part of it didn't, but I'm gonna shoot it one more time, see what happens. All right, so we're gonna shoot this one more time. Again, I'm gonna hit it kind of the top edge of the plate that's on there right now. So see what happens. You can see third hole on there, and came through right there, came through just fine as I expected. It hit the carrier right here. Hopefully you can see that on there. And there is no pass through. It did stop, and I could feel the bullet in there for sure. As you can tell, it didn't come through. So I don't know what back face deformation would be like, because obviously this is pretty substantial, but granted, this is 3 rounds though. On here, you're not really going to see back face deformation with Kevlar. It doesn't really stay in the shape that it formed to. It basically will flex back into its position. But it didn't go through, so that's something to take note. And again, this will also act kind of as a trauma pad as well, because it's behind here, so I'm not super worried about the back face deformation on here specifically. So I decided to shoot it with a M193, just regular 55 grain full metal jacket at point blank range, just to see what would happen. And I believe it was this one that it went into. It did not come out, like there's a bulge right here, but there is some lead that got squished out of one of the other holes that was original, so I don't know if this is part of the jacket of one of the green tip rounds. I'll cut into this later on and show you to figure out what exactly happened, and cut into the level 3A vest to see what was actually caught in it. It may just be the steel core, I don't know. But it did stop the M193 55 grain full metal jacket stuff out of a 16-inch barrel point blank. I was, about that far away. So this stuff does actually perform as advertised. Again, this was just to test the green tip specifically with a 3A pistol rated armor behind it. Because I'm curious and I haven't shot this thing in forever, this is my M16A1 clone build. It's a fun gun. I haven't shot it in forever though, so. It has a 20-inch barrel, so I want to see if 55 grain full metal jacket at about 15-20 yards will go through that plate, or if it'll stop it. I love this gun. There's no recoil. I think it stopped it. There's a bunch of lead fragments, but I'm going to shoot it one more time, more centered, see what it does. Alright, that was a more centered hit. Alright, so I'm trying to shoot somewhere where it hasn't been shot yet. This area is still kind of unshot up. But so this was my first hit. You can see it hit on the edge. It actually, I believe, stopped it. You can see the leg fragments in there from that one. The second shot was a little bit more away from the edge. And you can see right here, there's no pass through. So for what it's worth, these plates do stop a 55 grain out of 20-inch barrel.
So here's the vest and everything. I'll show you it in better lighting. I realized the sun was kind of in the background, so it's probably hard to see. But here's all the entry holes. You can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These two were from the 16-inch barrel in 193, and I wish in retrospect I had shot this plate with this vest in the background with the 20-inch gun, or with a 20-inch barrel with the green tip, but I forgot, sorry. If I think about it, I'll do it later at a different time. But you have another shot one here, 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 here. And as you can see, you have one pass through right here, and you have one pass through right here. Everything else was stopped, so those are the two green tip spots. And you can see how much this bulged. Again, this is not designed to take so many rounds in one spot because it's a tiny plate, so just know with polyethylene that's going to be an issue. So this is going to be the back face deformation. Again, there's nothing behind this, so you can see about how much of a bulge that is. That's probably, my finger's about an inch. It's probably a good 3/4 of an inch, almost an inch, something like that. So back face deformation is about average, I guess I would say. But with this behind it, this is going to act as a trauma pad, so that's that. But anyways, I just wanted to show you these shots up close, and you can see kind of what I was talking about, the lead fragments. I don't know if you can see them in there now. There's a little lead fragment there. There's a bunch of little lead fragments on the inside of this thing, so I assume this round on the edge was either stopped or deflected. So you can see right in here, there is no bullet caught in there, but you can see there's a hole right there that came out. Hopefully you can see that. The hole's right down there, and then there's kind of like an indentation, a dent. And granted, this thing was at an angle like this, so my guess is whenever it went in right here, it almost caught it, and then it kind of just had enough to just kind of squish out the side. So I believe that shot probably would not have been lethal, because that slowed it down quite a bit. So it's kind of nice to know that even on the very edge, it was able to slow that thing down enough to where it didn't even cut into this material. Again, it just kind of squished out the side. And again, with all these fragments and stuff, I think it actually did stop it, but that's kind of interesting to know. Okay, so I'm going to cut into both of these. Well, this one I'm not going to, I will cut into this one just to kind of see how much of the jacket got ripped off on these two rounds specifically. Because you can see there's a little bit of lead squishing out of one of those holes, and I think that's probably the jacket. But first I'll cut into this one, and if there's only a lead core in here, I'm not going to bother cutting into this because that'd just be wasted time. Because if there's only lead core in here, or a steel core in here, then we know that the lead core or lead jacket is somewhere in that thing. So let me cut into this, and I'll show you on this specific hole right here. So you have green tip. I think that was the first shot. Then here is the second shot. So on the first shot, here's the rip. I cut into this, so you can see it did not pass through. It just punched it really hard. So I'm going to go through here and see how many layers it made it through the Kevlar. All right, and so you can see how far it made it through. The bullet is right there. Hopefully you can see it's kind of poking through. I'll pull it out here in a second. So I would say, based on how thick this material is here, this is all the way compressed, and then this material here is all the way compressed. It stopped in the last, I would say, maybe 1/4 of the material. Yeah, probably the last 4. So it made it about 3/4 of the way through this Kevlar before it got stopped. So just take that for what it's worth, and again, I'll try to cut this out a little bit better so you can see what the bullet itself looks like. Alright, so oddly enough, cutting into this thing, these are the largest pieces I was able to recover, and it's definitely not a whole bullet, but I would say it's probably about half. The rest is fragments. So you can see these are the fragments. You can see this is part of the jacket. Kind of a little bit of a circle. I don't know if you can tell right there. But I got a little magnet right here, and none of this is the steel penetrator in the green tip. So that's all lead, which is surprising to me. I can't actually find the steel penetrator. It's either floating around somewhere in here or, I don't know, somewhere else, but it's not in there. So I don't know if it's in this, which means I'm probably going to have to cut into this thing. But let me cut into this other side over here, see if I can find that one. Maybe it'll tell us a little bit more. But that's all the big fragments I can find. The majority of it was in tiny, almost like powder-like pieces, just spread throughout that entire Kevlar vest as it went through. All right, and to show you how far this other one on the edge made it, you can see there actually didn't punch through. This is just basically a dent. So like some of the powder or something lead colored this part, but it actually, the bullet, you can feel it, it's right about here. So it kind of moved away from the center. There's still a little bit of bullet here where the hole is, but the majority of it I feel is off to the side. So this one didn't make it through nearly as far. I would say this one made it through really only about the first fourth of it. So that's kind of weird that this one didn't go as far through. You could say maybe half. So again, I'm going to cut into there and see where the bullet actually is, or where the fragments of it are. So I'm found out further digging, I'm not crazy. This bullet is from another test, and it was over here on this side, but actually I guess it just kind of traveled over there since it wasn't embedded and it was still smooth. It just floated around in there. So this actually isn't from that spot, because I found more powder residue and lead fragments, which is from that 5.56. As I dig around in here, and there's little fragments all inside this Kevlar, so it for sure. And also this hole isn't big enough for 9mm, but this one, as you can see, is. So the one over here next to it that was already there, this is where that 9mm round went in. This is still a 5.56. You can see there's little bitty lead fragments all inside of here. I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see, yeah, right there. You can see all these little lead fragments. So these bullets actually just broke apart into pretty much nothingness, which is consistent with these little, fragments I found over here. These were the biggest pieces I could find of the other ones. So I'm going to dig into that one now and just see if I can find any fragments in there, because that's kind of strange to me that the lead made it through, but the steel tip didn't. I don't know. It's interesting. So I'll cut into it and let you see it. All right, so I dug through this thing, and it's kind of interesting to see. This is the front of the plate. So about maybe halfway through, you can see the bullet started actually tumbling. And that's when it started breaking apart. And you can see it's just turning into powder. It's losing jacket material. And there's some more lead stuck in there. But it's basically just breaking the bullet apart. And I think right around here, there's only the steel penetrator going through at that point. I honestly don't know, and that's what came out. And here's all the lead. Hopefully you can see all this. Here's all the lead fragments, and none of this is, well, attract a magnet, so none of that sticks to the magnet. And I'll show you this up close, I guess. I would say this is, it's definitely the jacket, and there's probably twice as much in almost like powder inside this plate right here. And considering I wasn't able to find much more, than this up here, the other one, I don't know where the steel penetrator went, honestly. It may have just been turned to dust. It could have been just fallen out somewhere. I really don't know. It could be buried somewhere in here, but I'll never find it. But regardless, it's kind of interesting to see that this is still trying to catch that bullet. It's still catching all the lead fragments, or a lot of the lead fragments, so it's breaking it apart. So it's easy to see why it didn't go through this vest. But anyways, hopefully you found this interesting. I did. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't find the steel penetrator in those green tips. But so a 3A vest in conjunction with these specific plates will stop green tip out of a 16-inch barrel. So if you already wear this level vest at work, or I don't know, for whatever you do, you're already wearing this, and you throw on a plate carrier with these lighter weight polyethylene plates, just know that it will stop the green tip. So you don't necessarily need to buy the level 3 plus, which weigh an extra pound or two, per plate. So which may, a couple pounds may not be anything. And if you want that extra protection, go for it. But just know that if you already have these level 3 plates or polyethylene, because they're super lightweight already, you probably don't need to upgrade again. That's a personal choice. I'm not an expert. I'm just a dude, redneck. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you have any other ideas of things that I could test out, let me know. Put them down in the comments below. Check out our Instagram page. Give us a like. That helps out the YouTube algorithm quite a bit. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below. We appreciate it. All right. Have a good one.